Hello gainers, I'm Ralphie and welcome to my channel here on YouTube called Fitter Philosophy, in which I share the fitness and the philosophy, both combined, mixed with a little bit of stoicism and fueled by the practical experience of real life. So we're getting out the library at the moment, we're getting out the theory classes, and we're looking at what we can observe in the world around us during our lives, which are going to teach us how to live our lives better. And I've recently just completed a short series of 3 videos entitled Visiting Dan in the Nut Glen. And what is particularly interesting about Dan's situation is that he is living an alternative lifestyle, off the grid, very basic, not a lot of money, not a lot of possessions, not a lot of stuff. He has a phone but no television. He has a radio but he doesn't listen to it much. And he's leading essentially what you and I would consider a very different lifestyle. And possibly one that we couldn't manage to do because it would make us uncomfortable. But it's always useful to observe people like Dan. And there are many other folk out there living different lives. And it's very useful for us to observe them so that we might better observe ourselves. And I'm going to give you one very strong reason why we should learn to observe ourselves more, and it's quite simply that when you're walking down the street, in the shops, if they're still open, you may notice that you're surrounded by increasingly older folk, and it's interesting to people watch. In other words, to look at people discreetly without being too nosy, in more detail, with a more clear lens. And we do this simply through practice. The art of people watching is a very useful art to master. And you'll notice that some people age quickly. They may seem superficially to enjoy good health, but they grey off rapidly. Whilst others may be getting old, but they retain a youthful vitality about them. They have a certain energy which they manage despite their advanced years, and they get on and they get more out of life as a result of it. And quite simply what you're looking at are people who retain a freshness in their life. That vitality is because they haven't institutionalized themselves within their own lives. They haven't, increasingly as time goes on, leaned on the negative and more on the negative, the pains, the aches, the grumbles, the negativity in the media, all the bad things in the television. Many folk can easily fall into that trap of looking at the world outside and seeing more of the negative than there is of the positive, particularly when we're fed that line by the media. And in fact, in many places around the world, and all you have to do is ask travellers, people who travel around the world, they'll tell you that it broadens the horizons and enriches the life to engage and connect with other people's cultures, lives and experiences, and to recognise the positive, because there's so much positivity out there. And often it gets overlooked. And what I found fascinating visiting Dan in the Nut Glen was observing more clearly and more accurately the positive attributes he has in his life. And it struck me that particularly his diet, which is vegan, he grows a lot of his own fruit and vegetables. He buys some stuff from the supermarket, but only what he needs, and nothing goes to the waste. So I've seen some apples, pears and bananas, fresh fruit. And he is remarkably fit. He's constantly active, he takes his cold shower in the morning, and he retains a positive attitude. That is directly impacting on his personal health in a very positive way, not just physically but psychologically, because of the tranquility of the Nut Glen and the fact that he lives in this environment, not beside that environment, on the other side of a barricade or a high wall or a convenient privet hedge. He connects directly with the natural world, the world that is all around you and I. And as much as you see the positivity in folk like Dan, it's worth looking at others to see the negativity and the consequences of people who are overly immersed in a shrinking sense of reality as they become more convenient in their living. In other words, not eating healthily, breakfast cereal, biscuits, snacks, more snacks, more snacks, cigarettes, sugar, turning the heating up too high, buying air fresheners for the house and spraying them about rather than cleaning the place and giving it some fresh air. All these things. And when we observe, that's when we learn. Learning doesn't stop in the classroom or college or university, if you happen to end up going to university. Life is a constant experience of learning, and one of the most valuable lessons we can learn is to learn from those around us and the way they live their lives, to help us with our lives so we do not become institutionalized, stale, stagnant and getting old too soon. I'm Ralphie, hope you've enjoyed this little video. I'm going to move away from the camera now and let you enjoy. I'll move the camera around a little bit so you get more of the sea view. It's a lovely view, you know. There we go. It's a wonderful thing to be able to live beside the coast, because you get the freshness of the elements, the air, the water, the land, and all these tidal areas in between that are so full of fascination in life. I'm Ralphie. Goodbye.